How I went from zero to more than $15,000 per month for my lifestyle business, a tactical guide. So hey folks, so today I want to share with you how we took our business from zero to more than $15,000 per month, right, for my lifestyle business, and more importantly, the exact tactical lessons that we took that you can learn and benefit from. So hi everybody, Mark here. So what we do is to help entrepreneurs grow and build a lucrative six-figure lifestyle business with proven systems and mentorship. So this will be especially useful for you, whether you are currently feeling stuck and lost when it comes to growing your business, whether you are starting out and you want to launch your business ASAP, or simply looking to scale your business to multiple six figures with less time, effort, and stress. So I started my business from scratch back in late 2020s when the economy and landscape was as uncertain as it is right now as this time of the video. And so I believe that the 7 tactical things we still currently apply to our business to scale to $50,000 per month will help you to launch and grow your lifestyle business as well. So very quick disclaimer, this is not for you if you're looking to hustle and grind your way to world domination, but simply only because you want to build a business to support your lifestyle rather than the other way around. So because if you're not someone who values freedom, flexibility and fulfillment in life, this video training might not be necessarily for you. Alright, with that, let's get started. So the first lesson, right, is what I call model first, innovate later. So back in 2020, when I started my business, I knew that I did not want to start completely from scratch, right, to do it totally without a support, without any feedback, because I was still pretty clueless, right, to launching my own business at that point of time. So which is why I actually engaged, right, a good sum of money, which used to be half my annual salary at one point of time, to engage my mentor, right, who coaches some of the top coaches, trainers and speakers all around Asia. And so when starting out, because I was extremely new to the space, all I did was to simply model, not copy, what my mentor did. Whether it's conducting a workshop, right, through some of the content, promoting a 1-year coaching and mentoring program after, so on and so forth. And so it did really well, right? In the first 6 months, right, which is faster than most businesses out there, we already generated more than $100,000 with just this model alone that I just modeled, right, after my mentor from. And so while we did evolve the model later, right, as we are currently doing right now, I realized that I would have moved much slower if I tried to figure out perfect offer, the perfect solution, the perfect way to present it, so on and so forth. Right now, whether you're feeling a bit of maybe overthinking, maybe procrastinating, right, feeling a bit stuck or lost, one of the best tips I would give anyone is that by modeling after already what works and then only innovating later, tend to move faster, we grow a lot faster, and we learn along the way as well. And so lesson number 2, obsess over your clients. So after I achieved the 6-figure mark in a relatively short period of time, I received congratulations from many people. I felt, hey, pretty good myself. It was a huge sigh of relief for me because I didn't know how my business would be like at that point of time. Right. However, it actually came to the next problem, right? Because what I realized is that, hey, collecting money is easy, right? Once you master the strategies, the mindsets, when you get to model after people that have already done it before, it's actually the delivery and the service that is even more important, because that is what causes you to continue to stay in the game. And so thanks to what I learned from my mentors, what had happened was that I started to feel afraid because I'm afraid I could not deliver what I promoted. I was already charging fees that was way higher than industry average and fees that I never believed I could at that point of time. And so when I went to my mentor to share with him my question and my struggles about this, right, he simply asked me this: was I feeling scared because of my own insecure emotions? Or was it because my clients actually shared with objective feedback and data that they weren't very happy with the experience with me so far? And so that's when I realized the fears I had was not objective at all. It was simply based on emotions and thoughts, right, that had no real backing in mind, that there was no real data to back it up. So what I did after that was actually to survey my clients about their satisfaction levels with me, right, through a simple survey form. And what I realized, right, in just a couple of days is that not only were many of my clients happy, many of them were already achieving very great results, right, based on what we helped them to do. And so right now, right, what I do is I survey my clients on a quarterly basis, find out how can we continue to improve what we do, and that's not only help us to retain happy clients, but spread word of mouth too. So the second big lesson over here, right, is to make sure that whenever you're struggling, right, whether you're feeling overthinking or you're feeling a bit afraid, don't just use your emotions to go crazy with it. Actually use objective data, assessments, feedback, right, to really find out on the ground what's really going on rather than letting your brain explode, right, with many of what we call the worst case scenarios. So this is lesson number 3, right? Start with a decent idea. What I realized, right, when I was attending a lot of coaching programs, right, seminars, books, courses, a lot of them always talk about having the one perfect business idea, right, for you to grow your business and your income. And so what I did, right, was I subscribed to the idea for a long time. But when I actually launched my business, it was a time of time where I just knew that I had to go all in, right, even though it's not perfect. So when I started my business, it was actually what we call a productivity high performance program. It came to a point of time where my mentor was actually sharing me like, hey, bro, do you realize that nobody wakes up, right, one day to actually want to implement more in their lives, right? Because that's the name of my program, Master Implementers. While I did eventually evolve that idea, right, to what it is right now, right, it still make quite a bit of money while starting out. And so what I realized that unless we are trying to build a multiple 7 to 8 figure company, unless we are trying to be listed, or unless we are trying to be acquired by another business, right, to generate millions, most of us do not need the most perfect or the most differentiated or the most unique idea to succeed. It doesn't come down to how perfect the idea is when it comes to a lifestyle business generating maybe about $25,000 to $50,000 per month, right? All you just need is really a decent idea that people will buy, and then execute it very well in terms of your marketing, your results, the client results that you give, the operations, so on and so forth. So if you basically find someone that has a problem and you're willing to buy it, solve it well, do it over and over again, help more people, and that is usually enough to what we call creating a great lifestyle business, right, already. And so this is lesson number 4, consistent value. So ever since I started my business, right, I always ask one important question for every single client who signed up with me. And I always ask them, hey, out of everything else you could be doing, right, you could have said no to me, right, you could have spent money anywhere else, why did you decide to buy from me in the first place? And what surprised me in my first couple of clients, right, was that a lot of them had one very similar answer. They all followed me for a very long time. And it was pretty surprising, right, for me, because a lot of these people, right, that I signed up, I never really saw them commenting on my posts. I've never engaged much with them, right? I had no idea who they were, right, until they came from my workshops and my programs, right? But what I realized is that all of them remembered me from past events, right, workshops, courses, through my content, and which is why I added so much value to them on such a consistent basis that a lot of them decided to work with me, right, or to buy from me, right, at the end of the day. So one even trusted me because I conducted investment sharing about 5 years ago, and his girlfriend, right, who is my university friend, right, joined me, right, at the point of time, right. So this was 5 years ago, right, and it's something that I didn't even think about. And so this really showed me the lesson of consistently bringing value. You never know how it could help you in the future. And so here are some examples of what I did that you could potentially consider as well. Number 1 is definitely giving content, right, as much as you can. I also teach for free, whether it's through Facebook Lives, through live events, through videos. Even if you don't buy from me, right, I hope you get some goodwill and some value out of it. Whenever people have questions through their content, through Facebook groups, by messaging me, I'll try to answer questions as much as I can, just to give as much value as possible. And another thing I do with some of my friends, my private clients, is whenever I've come across articles or lessons, right, from others which I found useful, I'll actually send it to them as well. The big lesson over here is that just by consistently showing up and giving value, you never know, right, how you can benefit in the future. And in this case, for me, a lot of people that bought from me, right, was because I already gave them value, right, over such a long period of time. Lesson number 5, DMs, right? So when I was starting my business, right, one thing I realized that, hey, even if my content was catching a little bit of engagement, a little bit of attraction, right, from a lot of people, I realized that content alone won't tend to work when you're starting out. So what I did, right, when I was starting out my business is, besides just writing content, I was doing a lot of what I call direct messages, right? I was having personal conversations with people through DMs, through WhatsApp, through my friends, Telegram, right, Facebook Messenger. Every time I started DMing more people, right, my results tend to grow a bit faster as well. That if you want certain results, you got to have personal conversations, especially if you're starting out, right? It's mundane, but it works. So only come to a point of time where maybe you have too many people to speak with, right? You can just use content alone. But when you're starting out your business, right, you still want to use the power of direct messages. And so recently I also had I paid for a consulting package, 3 hours for $3,000 with someone that I really respect and look up to. And what I realized that even when he was making 7 figures, he was still calling people, DMing people, because he knew that that was one of the best and most effective ways to generate income. So don't just rely on content, right, or lead magnets or workshops, right? You want to converse with people personally, because that's when there'll be highest response rates, and people are more likely to say yes to you, right, when they know that they're talking to you directly. So do not neglect the power of one-to-one conversations. Lesson number 6, absolute focus is key. After the first 6 months of my business, where I generated more than $100,000, my business actually dropped for quite a while. And the big answer is this at the end of the day, which is I just stopped focusing on sales and marketing. So what did I do instead? Was I slacking off, trying to chill, fly to the beach, right, to drink whatever I wanted to, and not care about business? No. What I did, I started to focus on things like operations. I started to hire a team. I started to focus more on client delivery. So while those are important as well, right, and it's not wrong because I really wanted to obsess with my client results, but the priority should always be sales and marketing when you're starting out in your business. Because why? Right, cash flow is the lifeblood of the business. And what creates cash flow? Sales and marketing. And this is a big lesson I learned at a point of time because my business dropped, right, when I did not focus on that. Only when I started to focus back on what's really important for me at the point of time as a startup, sales and marketing, did my income, my revenue pick up again, and right, I was able to continue running my business, right, growing my business, right, to where I want to be even right now. And so a very practical tip, right, to do this is, yes, right, it's important to focus on operations, client delivery, hiring a team, right, to continue scaling your business. Practical tip is to focus by scheduling key activities on calendar such that you do not forget about it. So in this case, for me, it was sales and marketing because I didn't really like sales and marketing. I love giving value. I love creating content. But yes, sales and marketing was something I really enjoyed. But because it was so important for me as a startup founder, I would schedule at least 1 hour every single day, right, to work on it. And this is also validated by this book called Fanatical Prospecting, right? They can check it out, right? But basically, just by scheduling that golden hour for me every single day to focus on sales and marketing, I was able to grow my business and my income even further. Another secondary practical tip, right, is what I call having a daily theme of the week, where, for example, if you don't want to sell every day, at least have 1 or 2 days of the week where your main priority is to sell, to promote, to market, so that your business grows. So I understand, right, that you might not like sales and all the time, but if you're starting your business, right, I guarantee you, right, that is going to be the most important thing you can do for a business. Because if you are really serious about trying to provide a better living for you and your family, your friends, your loved ones, if you're trying to be serious about adding more value to your clients or even to society, right, if you're actually serious about creating more freedom and flexibility for yourself, you have what I call a moral obligation to promote and sell. Lesson number 7, change and optimize your environment. So when I joined my coaching mentorship program, right, the biggest value of joining my mentorship program wasn't just the theory, the lessons, right, learning from the coach himself, but really what was extremely valuable itself was the networks and the people I met during my time there. So these were people who, again, were also willing to pay multiple 5 figures to join the program. So these were people at the top of the field. I got to connect with all these people, and I benefited not just from, JVs, partnerships, cross promotions, but it was also about the energy and the ideas I will get from all these amazing people as well. You can't help but to also feel inspired, driven, and the ideas start to flow, right, as you speak with similar-minded people who want to grow and to improve their lives as well. Personally, it wasn't people who were driving expensive cars or wearing luxury watches, because I didn't really care about that. But we were people that, yes, they made money, but they believed, right, in the positive impact of what they did, right, and they were client obsessed as well. So these are people I really love hanging out with. And what I love is that we continue to grow and develop one another. The lesson here is this, right? The best way to be motivated is to simply optimize your social environment, right? Because it always beats willpower, it beats motivation, right? Because your environment, right, with the right environment, you can't help but to constantly feel driven, right, and motivated to keep doing your best. So a very practical tip Brendon Burchard says, right, is to actually categorize your current friends into 3 core categories: your growth friends, your maintenance friends, and your old friends. So growth friends are really people in terms of wanting to help you to grow, right? You guys are always developing, inspiring one another. You guys are challenging one another out. You guys are giving each other feedback, all to grow and to get to become better versions of yourself in any area of your life, not just income. Maintenance friends are people that you have maybe developed very strong bonds with back in the past, maybe during schools, your previous clubs, your activities, right? But hey, right now, because maybe you guys aren't having the most similar interests or the similar states of life, you guys might not be as connected as the past. So for maintenance friends, right, usually you want to hang out with them, right, maybe once every quarter, once every month, right? And growth friends, you try to engage them with maybe even daily or even weekly, right, as well. General recommendation. Old friends, the third category, right, it's not what we call toxic or what, right? It's what we call old friends, which is, hey, they might be your friends in the past, but you just know for some reason, right, that you just don't find the value or the reason, right, to engage with one another very often. So what I do for old friends is I don't cut them out. I know a lot of people like to cut people out, right, just because you guys are different anymore and they feel bitter and they feel bad about it. What I realize is that, hey, they are old friends, But the wonderful thing is some of them might be my maintainers or my growth friends in the future, right? I'll still keep connected with them on social media. Hopefully they consume some of my content and get some value from me. If there's a right time or the right states come, they might be growth friends with me again. And this actually was the case for some of my friends, where in the past we didn't talk too much, right? We weren't really engaged, we weren't very close to one another, already back in university. But right now, because we have similar interests, we want to grow, right? Our finances, we want to become more free in our lives. Now we're actually really good friends, right? And we constantly hang out with one another. So when assessing who you regularly hang out with, you're going to ask yourself, number one, do you feel inspired to grow and energized after hanging out with them? If you are, great, continue working with them. If you aren't, right, you might want to think about, right, why is that? And are those people that you want to regularly hang out with? Not to cut out for the sake of it. I don't believe in cutting out people for the sake of it, right? But just, hey, maybe I don't have to hang out with them as much just because it's not the state or it's not the priority of my life right now. Number two, how much do you look forward to hanging out with them? So for example, right, I know a lot of friends, right, before they go out for a hangout, they will tell me like, actually I feel a bit lazy, or I don't feel very good. I get it, sometimes you feel a bit tired and whatnot. But I think the biggest question is, if you find yourself not looking forward to hang out with a group of friends over and over and over again, the question is, why? Right? Why do you want to waste your time, or why do you want to spend your precious time and energy hanging out with friends, right, that you might not find priority at this point of time? So that's second, right? That's the second priority, which is you find yourself not looking forward, right, with it, is something that you might want to optimize as well. And the third question, when it comes to your friends that you hang out with, are you constantly living in the past or looking towards the future? Every time you meet with your friends, you're always talking about the past, right? How the past glories were, how you guys were in the past, and you keep doing about that every single time you meet. The question is, how much of value is there for you? Yes, you might get to feel a little bit good at the point of time by reminiscing of the past, and it's not that you can't do that. You can do that once in a while. But, right, if you're really serious about your growth, making more money, being happier, being more free with your life, having better relationships, better health, right, you might want to meet with people, or you might want to have conversations more to do with the future, instead of avoiding or procrastinating about it as most people are. Right? And so with that, right, by optimizing a social environment, in terms of having more growth friends and always optimizing, right, the people you hang out with, you can't help but to get better, even without motivation or willpower, because you're just automatically getting better, right, over and over again. And so, right, here's the last bonus lesson that helped me to grow my business from zero to more than $15,000 per month, right? And this lesson called simply be decisive. So in business or in life, we always have ups and downs. Or what I tell entrepreneurs or even people living their lives, right, in Singapore and Malaysia, right, and other countries, is that facing hardships or challenges in life is just like drinking water, right? Where there are days where you will feel demoralized, where you feel low energy, where you might feel a bit of imposter syndrome or self-doubt or anxiety. The question I realized, what's important to you? Because here's what I learned about passion. A lot of people always think passion is about loving what you do, right? Or waking up each day being excited. And I love that as well for myself. But if you look at the root word of the word passion, it actually means to suffer for. What I realized that passion is not just about doing what you love, what you enjoy, what seems easy, but the bigger question is, what are you willing to suffer for? So for me, right, I'm willing, right, to do the work that others aren't, right, in order to live my best life, right, in terms of building my lifestyle business, right, enjoy my time, my family, my friends, doing the things where I want to. Hey, but there's some things, right, that I want to do every single time without fail. Whether it's posting content like what I'm doing right now, right, writing pieces of content, right, doing some of the things of business like operations, that I do not like. I do it, right, because, right, I know what I'm willing to suffer for. But one thing is, I don't hear what people say, I see what they do. So a lot of people might say that making money is important to them, but they do nothing about it, right? Because they watch Netflix, right, every single day after work. Some people say health is important, right, but they do nothing, right? They still continue eating junk food, not exercising, right, and giving tons of excuses, right? People ask them or challenge them to do something more of their health. Some say their family or their friends are important, right, but then they don't prioritize time with them, they don't spend time with them, and even when they spend time with them, they're not even present because they're always using their phone or watching the TV at the end of the day. And so the question I'm going to ask you, right, is, do you actually mean what you say? And one of the best things I'm going to look at, right, when it comes to for people who are successful or not, is how decisive they are. Yes, I get that many people avoid or procrastinate, right, because they're into survival mode or they just want to rest and recharge. But what I realize is that for people who are really serious, right, about achieving a certain goal, whether it's more money, more freedom, more flexibility, more time, the family and friends, is that they are decisive. So if you're truly serious about it, right, choose to move forward and be decisive with the decisions that you make. Your goals and purpose is important. So sometimes it's all just about going for it and committing despite feeling a bit low energy, despite feeling a bit afraid, despite feeling self-doubt. Sometimes all you need to do is that decision to go for it. So for example, right, earlier this year, after many years of spraining my ankles, always getting injured, some days I'll just wake up and my ankles will just be stiff and swollen. It happened for such a long time. But it's only earlier this year that I finally told myself I could not take it anymore. That I told myself that I did not want my ankles to be an issue anymore, because 10, 20, 30 years later, I did not want, right, for me to regret not taking care of my ankles at that point of time. So I finally made a decision, right, to invest in a personal trainer that helps with rehabilitative training, right, while helping me lose weight and feel better in my life. And I decided to put in the investment, right, to support my goals, right, as well. So for you, it might not just be about putting money, but just making decisions. And rather than just saying that, yes, I'll do it, or just creating some schedules and plans, and then never ever doing it again, make sure there's something that you'll do and you commit to moving forward. And because it was important to me, right, at that point of time for my ankles, or whether for me for finances, for my business, I was able to commit to that decision. I was able to become decisive, right? And that's what transformed, right, many areas of my life. And I hope you do the same as well. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Some of my tactical guides, some of the best, most important things that helped me to generate more than $15,000 per month for my lifestyle business. And I hope you use them as well. See you.